Hey everyone, it's me, Yvonne Emil Elizondo from Silver Moon Astrology and Transpersonal Counseling, also known as Silver Moon Counseling. And I'm here today because we have the full moon in Sagittarius happening on June the 3rd. And I think it's about 10:39 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll double check the time in just a little bit. But I wanted to give you an idea of what this full moon could entail and how you can use it to, mitigate maybe some stuff that's happening in your life or help you use it to create more goodness in your life. All right, so I am going to show you the chart as I usually do. I haven't been around much here. I've been trying to settle some stuff in my life, but I am excited about, coming back and sharing the astrology with y'all because, the astrology just happens to show up in our lives all the time. It's probably a good idea to know why. What's going on? All right, so here's the chart. So here we have this full moon. The full moon is in Sagittarius. Don't pay attention to the house system right now. We're just paying attention to the planets and the aspects that are happening. Here is the sun. The sun is in Gemini. So happy birthday to you, Gemini people. My beautiful sister, Liz, it was her birthday a few days ago. So happy birthday. And so here we go. The full moon in Sagittarius, and it is happening at 10:39 p.m. Central Standard Time. So let's take a look and see what this moon could potentially entail, right? So again, we have the moon in Sag, the sun in Gemini, okay, on opposite sides of each other. So we do have this, mutable fire energy of Sagittarius and this mutable air quality of Gemini playing against each other. Now, the other two aspects here that I think are important is that Saturn in Pisces, so Saturn has been in Pisces for, just a little bit of time right now. It is the apex between the square to the moon. Oops, here we go, the square to the moon, and it's also the apex to the square to the sun. So we have this beautiful triangle type of energy going on. But, and I say beautiful because, it's beautiful to me, but sometimes this can be a stressful factor, considered a stressful factor when we have these 3 points pulling against each other. So let's take a look at what, that all entails, and then hopefully give you some idea of how you can mitigate or work with this energy. So essentially, the full moon, right, is when we have the moon and it's completely opposite, opposing the sun. And so the full moon is in all its glory. We get to see it, we get to experience it, we get to feel it. Also, great time to charge your crystals, great time for magic work, great time for just releasing the energy that and the intentions from the new moon that were working with 2 weeks ago, actually really being able to release that out into the universe. So the full moon is a wonderful time to release the aftermath of the intentions, so to speak, that you've been marinating for the last 2 weeks since the new moon. So, but let's talk about what the moon really represents in a full moon and Sagittarius energy, and how Saturn could be playing into this as well. So the full moon is a time of expression. Okay, it's anybody that's born, relatively close to a full moon. You're going to see that they're probably more expressive. They probably experience out in the world, as opposed to new moon babies like me, who are very much introverted and experience life in here. The full moon is about experiencing the world outside of us. Okay, and in Sagittarius, this full moon is looking for the truth. Sagittarius energy is about the truth. It's about the goals out in the future. It's about manifesting. Okay. Sagittarius doesn't really like a lot of detail. It's constantly focused. If you, take a look at that archer, okay, the symbol of Sagittarius, it's ready to release that arrow out into the future. So it doesn't really pay very close attention sometimes to all of the details or all of the steps in between. It's the dreamer. It's moving ahead. It's goal oriented. Okay. But Sagittarius energy can also be very hard on itself. It can lack the ability to settle down in one space long enough to really take account for all of the successes that it's had in the past. It's a very critical energy, in the sense that it's constantly looking to improve which is wonderful, but sometimes it has difficulty staying still. So if you have any Sagittarius in your life, you know that they're constantly moving to the next goal or the next career phase or the next relationship, or because they're really about moving forward. Yeah, my brother is Sagittarius. He's got all sorts of planets in Sagittarius, and so he's very much goal oriented. He's very much always constantly looking for that next accomplishment, so to speak. So this full moon is very much about seeking the truth. Okay, now if we take a look at the opposite side, or the opposite extension of where the moon is, we're going to take a look at the sun, and the sun is in Gemini. Gemini is an air energy as opposed to Sag, that's fire, right? So Gemini is about the details. It's about information. Okay, it's about taking a look at all of the little details, the informative facts, and soaking them all in. The problem sometimes with Gemini energy is that it takes in so much information, okay, and it wants to be implanted in every single bit. Okay, that's why if you have any Gemini energy, in your life, you will know that they are probably very social. They're very talky and chatty to some extent because they are very focused on making connections, especially information and data oriented connections, networking connections, okay, friendly connections. So this full moon is really going to be about seeking the truth within all of that information that you've been gathering, or that you've been given, or that you've been missing. Right. So sometimes we can't find the truth if we don't have enough information. So you may have felt that there was, a time period here the last few weeks where maybe there wasn't enough movement in information, and you just didn't have enough to make, a decision or decide what your next step was going to be, or figure out, what direction you wanted to go. This is a time where that changes. Sagittarius, as I said, is looking for the truth. It's the wisdom of the information. So whereas Gemini gathers data and information and details, Sagittarius takes that and deciphers through it, okay, and says, where is the wisdom in this? Where is the truth in this? How can I find justice and fairness in this? Okay, the two signs that represent that justice and fairness quality are going to be Sagittarius energy, represents law, represents, the legal aspect, and Libra, but we're not talking about Libra right now. So this full moon would be a great time to ask yourself, where am I missing the truth? Where am I missing the truth within myself? Sagittarius energy is like the guru in the zodiac. It is constantly wanting to improve. It focuses on development, self-expression. It focuses on, taking and looking within and having insight, and how that can be, incorporated into their external experience. So for this full moon, I would say sit with yourself, take a look at where it is that you would like to have some sort of growth and expansion. Okay. Now, if we're going to be, really advocating here for that Saturn placement, Saturn is about slowing things down. It's about being responsible. And I mentioned that it's squaring both the moon and the sun. So Saturn can be the energy that has kept you feeling from like moving forward, or again, not having enough information to move forward, or the energy was just kind of stagnant. So you may feel a little pull with that, but that's to keep you grounded and to help you recognize you need to go through the information. You need to have all of the insight before you can determine the direction of your journey. So if you've been planning, starting, a new phase in your career, maybe a new phase in academics, or, just in relationships, or a project, or, friendships, then this is the time to settle, in the sense of looking for the truth, searching for the truth within your heart, okay, within information, within, all of the aspects that, all of our senses that we use to help us find our way through life. Again, this is about searching for the truth. Now, let me show you this other little tidbit here in the chart. So I'm going to go back to the chart real quick. And what I would like for you to recognize is that right now we also have Jupiter, okay, Jupiter in Taurus, right? And Jupiter is conjunct this beautiful North Node. Now, the owner or the ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter. Okay, so the planet Jupiter feels very comfortable in Sagittarius. We also want to pay attention to what's going on with Jupiter. And essentially what this means is that Jupiterian energy, okay, which is considered, Jupiter's considered the guru of the zodiac, of the planets, okay, it's about expansion and growth. That's why it feels very comfortable in Sagittarius. It's also about seeking the truth. That's why it feels very comfortable in Sagittarius. But this north node, the north node of the moon, represents the future. It represents progress. It represents movement forward. So this full moon is also asking you to recognize what you need to release, okay, as far as old habits, maybe sometimes we have self-doubt or we lack self-perception. Okay, we want to remove all of that because the Jupiter and the North Node are really asking us to move beyond those aspects that are weighing us down. How can we move forward? We got to get rid of the junk. We got to get rid of the baggage. So this full moon, again, is very much about seeking the passion, seeking the truth, really recognizing what's working for you, what's not working for you anymore, and asking yourself, how am I going to progress as what kind of vision? Vision is very much about Sagittarius, and Jupiter's constantly looking for vision. What kind of vision do I have for myself? What kind of vision do I have for, you know, my experience in the world? And what kind of vision do I have for myself as a being, as a spiritual being, as a human being? So this is more of a spiritual lead type of energy for me. I've always felt Sagittarius is more tapped into that you know, active passion about who we want to become. And so that's what this full moon is asking us to do. Who do we want to become? There we go. All right, everyone. I hope you have found this helpful. If you want to learn more about your astrology, please find me at silvermooncounseling.org. That is silvermooncounseling.org. And I love using astrology within our therapy sessions. I'm also a licensed professional counselor. So astrology is one of the ways that we can tap into some personal tendencies and some timing techniques to help you find guidance and find direction, which is very much Sagittarius energy. So there we go. All right, everyone. That's it for me. I am going to set my full moon release. Again, this is also a great time to charge your crystals. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, take care, everyone. Blessed be.